won't go fill it up. It's not that much more water.
When Faryal makes me a cup of tea, she always makes me half a cup of tea.
You never drink it.
But I don't look at it. It's
no,
too
just
strong.
watch. Just be quiet. Amir, don't talk to me like that. I'm serious.
I swear to God, Faryal.
So annoying.
And obviously, like even if I drink half only, but I like it to be full.
I gotta have a full cup of tea.
When you add milk, it gets less strong, right? You know that, right?
If you add too much milk, it gets too milky.
It's not too milky. It's perfect.
Oh, you put less water in it, so it's strong anyway. I like a full cup of tea.
Amir, shut up!
Half a cup of tea.
Let me just take one mic in the bathroom. Okay, let me take it to the bathroom. New York.
Brooklyn.
I was born in Brooklyn. I moved out to Staten Island with my family and then got married and got to Bolton.
Who do you look like? Back in 2007, and it's the first time when I met 50 Cent. I met 50 Cent at a boxing event, and that's when he was at his peak as well. 2007, 2008.
I came to New York and I was quite shocked when I saw billboards of me everywhere. Faryal told me that before she knew me, she saw me on billboards when she was catching the tube or when she was in this New York, when she was in the city shopping. She saw posters on me and she looked at the poster and thought, wow, that's another Pakistani boxer. Little did she knew she was gonna get married to that person, you know?
It's good to come back where you've like grown up and just, you know, go back into your old bedroom. But home for me is England. I don't think I would ever move back to New York.
Would you not?
No.
Really?
At home.
Your main concerns, what would be the key things as an athlete that you want to get out of it?
Nutritionist Ende, he works with many other professional athletes, getting them right to the optimum strength and levels.
My main concern is to be back at the top level again, fighting at the highest level. But I am getting older. I'm not like I used to be like 10 years ago. So I want my body going to be able to do that again without me getting an injury.
When we're younger or in the early days of a career, we can get away with putting ourselves under much more punishment. The advantage you have now is you've got an experience that so many few people have. So what you...
Everyone's getting sick of my hair, dark for 2 years now. So I thought I'd go a bit light, even though I usually like going light in the summers.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
But I thought, you know what? I thought in the winter it'll be good, no sun in it actually, you know? My followers are so excited to see like what I'm doing now with my hair. So it'll be cool. The hope.
We did some back work with some skipping and stuff, and then after that we did some like conditioning work and some exercises.
You sound a bit grumpy. Are you okay?
Tired, it's just been, so I've had 2
Man up.
training.
I'm never tired when I'm in the gym and I come back.
You never tired?
When I'm in the gym, I'm back all happy.
You go in the gym, you just walk around, that's it, you don't even train. I have to train.
Oh, I don't know what you're looking at. Probably looking at the other girls, not me, because I am surely training. Where do you think I got this body from?
Anyway, I'm going to be home shortly, so I'll get the food ready, please.
Are you sure you're training? Because... Oof, maybe a bit warm.
Hi, you right?
Hi, I'm alive, Khadija. I started to think about my kids' wills and everything. I thought like the fire was gonna burn the place down. I'm home alone. Imagine that. Amir comes home to have a burnt house. A skeleton walks out. Here's your dinner, love. We're like, it's quite heavy, isn't it?
It's heavy.
Let's see. That was nice. Your whole family was there cheering you on. Your mom seemed really proud.
Yeah, man. I mean,
And her son, what a
think of it.
mess.
I was a 17-year-old. Check if we can colour this back to like the good silver, nice.
I'm
colour.
sure you can get it polished, yeah, which
maybe
you
we
should.
should do that.
It's a big thing. It's a big achievement.
Good memories. This.
It's been tough, like the blood, sweat and tears to achieve that, but it's well worth it.
Remember when Muhammad Ali ran with the torch?
Muhammad Ali ran with the torch.
Ran with the torch.
The Bolton one.
Not Bolton. I ran through Bolton with the torch. I ran through the Bolton town. with this one and I lit it.
So how did it feel running through like Bolton with the torch and all your fans like cheering you on?
It was the best feeling ever, but at the same time I was getting a little bit tired because holding that torch for about half an hour running for ages. The kids are growing up now as well, so they'll be interested in watching the fights.
I would never let the kids watch. I'm not too happy that Amir wants another fight, but I need to think of what he needs and what he wants. And I need to tell him how I feel, but at the same time, I don't want to feel selfish. I think I always wanted you to retire, but at the same time, we have to support you in whatever you do, and you know, we have to motivate you. So even though it's something we don't want you doing, it's something you want to do.
Boxing is what keeps me busy and keeps me occupied, but when that stops, then I'll be lost myself as well. I don't want to stop yet. I mean, I've got the energy to have 1 or 2 more fights. What's the point of stopping now? It's not the money I'm chasing because God's been kind and I'm okay. I don't have to ever work again. But it's just that I want to leave the sport knowing that I've left it at the right time. So it's about now being smart and picking the right fights. And then once you hang your gloves up, which will be in a couple of years' time, then I can say, that's it, I'll never look back.
Honestly, when you fight, it's so difficult. Like, you're in doing what you're doing, and then the kids are running around me, and I'm just there praying for you to just be okay. I've never watched Amir fight because it's just really difficult. I mean,
it does, we thank boxing. Well, I know it takes a lot of pain, but it is one of them things.
Freaking hell, I don't want to mess up my makeup. It took long to do.
Okay.
Boxing defines me. That's all I know. It's something I'll be doing all my life. I'll probably still have my foot in the door, doing other things in boxing, but to leave the sport, I could never do that. I've seen other fighters in the past who have left the sport and never looked back. I will never be one of them because I know how much it's helped me. It's made me the person I am. So it'll be very emotional.
But look at that, those achievements, I mean, that's everything that we've worked hard for.
Welcome back to another episode of Keeping It Real, and we are with Meet the Khans episode 5. So just over the halfway mark through the series, and this episode starts off with Amir and Faryal at home having a bit of a do over half a cup of tea. So Amir likes a full cup regardless of whether he's going to drink half or the full thing. Faryal's like, well, you're going to just make half a cup so it's not wasted, and she gets a bit irritated because, well, she's kind of telling him what to do, but kind of resonates a little bit of East is East with, please darling, make me half cup of tea, please. Anyway, new location in this episode. Amir and Faryal fly over to the US of A. Born in the USA, yeah. All the way over to New York, back to Faryal's home and family home, where they're having a little bit of a break, and Amir's, going over to the in-laws essentially. And it looks like a fantastic family home, nice neighborhood, like from an American movie or something. And Amir's father-in-law, he just looks absolutely besotted with his grandson. And Faryal and Amir talk about when they first met and all times, and how Faryal used to see him on billboards, and then lo and behold, X amount of years later they were married. Even though this episode shifts to America and some of the focus is on Faryal, her family / Amir's in-laws, the focus shifts a little bit more towards Amir, but it's kind of a balanced episode. But there isn't much in America, because there's just this one scene where Amir and Faryal are talking about past and how they came together and how they came to know each other and everything. But besides that, there's not much else. We don't get to see that much of a glimpse into Faryal's American life. It's a switch back to Bolton, and it's a switch back to the Amir Khan Academy, and Amir's training, getting back into training and having a little session, and he's then off to see his nutritionist, which, if you're like me, I find it really interesting. I've been fortunate enough to speak to Amir many occasions with regards to his diet, his training, his nutrition, and more importantly, his supplementation, what supplements he takes morning, noon, night, before training, after training, intra-workout, post-workout, before bed, etc. I think it's really interesting. Obviously, he gets the best of the best, with regards to supplements and with regards to getting his blood tested as well to see what minerals and vitamins are low in his body and what he needs to top up. I find it really interesting. But anyway, back to the show and back to this episode. It then switches from Amir and his nutritionist to Faryal at the hairdressers, going for a new hair color. I mean, yeah, if you're into hair and all that kind of stuff, which I'm sure a lot of the viewers are, I'm sure they'll find this really interesting. Essentially, most of this episode is kind of focused around Amir and his desire to get back into the ring, and how not being in the ring has affected him, and how on more than one occasion he can become hungry. Yes, that's right, I said hungry. If anybody's had to prep for a fight or a competition and you're on training and you're on a certain diet and you can't eat what you want and all that, you do get a bit moody. Your sugar levels, maybe you're detoxing a little bit, maybe you're in a little bit of ketosis. It plays havoc. So I completely understand when Amir goes a bit cray-cray, when all he wants to do is come home and have a bit of food. But we've got a little bit of Faryal preparing some food and stuff and just being normal. And even though she went to the hairdressers and she got her hair done, she's in wife mode. She's got her hair tied back, she's cracking on with some cooking, she's having a bit of a chat and a catch up with her friends. Just real normal life stuff. And I think this is what sometimes people forget. Yeah, there is lots of glitz, there is lots of glam, and they do deserve it. But when push comes to shove and it's about the graft, it's literally just the graft. Towards the end of the episode, you've got Amir looking at mementos of things he has collected and achieved along the way, including his Olympic silver medal from 2004 Athens game, which he does mention could do with a bit of a polish. Fun fact, when Amir actually came back from the Olympics, the place he used to keep his silver medal was in his tracksuit pocket. Hashtag no lie. I mean, even when we went to college, when he came back, he actually had his Olympic silver medal in his pocket. And then he talks about running with the Olympic torch as well. And he's got so many, the championship belts, the titles, the medals, awards, and he's remembering all these things. And you know what, it is really difficult for any fighter to hang up their gloves. Especially like Amir, he talks about the difficulties, and him and Faryal have a bit of a one-to-one, which I think is really cute, and it's really important to communicate, as I've kept saying over the number of episodes, and just in real life, and keeping it real. It's all about communication. And at the end of the day, you got to remember one thing. Amir picked a hobby at the age of 8. He then, after turning the age of 17, he was at an Olympics, and he got a silver medal. He came back. He could have stayed amateur. He could have trained and potentially he could have potentially gone on to the next Olympics. But you know what? No, he turned pro. He absolutely smashed it in such a short space of time. It's a complete life-changing experience, from just chilling in Bolton, getting your pound doner and chips and all that kind of stuff, to then hanging around with people like 50 Cent and David Beckham and all this kind of stuff, and promotions and sponsors, and you're in that limelight. But essentially, what do you do when people are through chanting your name and all the smoke's cleared and it's just you, the wife, and the kids left? What focus do you have? How do you refocus? How do you move on? What do you do next? It is in his blood. He is a boxer, he is a fighter, and I'm pretty sure he's always going to have some part or some hand in boxing in some capacity, like he's starting to mentor up and coming pro boxers. But it's really difficult. And I mean, whether you look at it from a celebrity side, whether you look at it from a athlete perspective, it's really difficult to leave that lifestyle for a number of factors. You're busy, you're active, you're around people, you're traveling, you're training, you're making money, you're very famous, you're the latest flavor of the month, and for it to all disappear just because you've called it a day is very difficult. I mean, we've all seen how many ex-boxers or ex-athletes have, once they've retired or once they've come out of the sport, they've struggled with addiction, with finances, with going bankrupt, with alcohol, with drugs. And it's really difficult, whatever type of celebrity or athlete you are, once you're not in the limelight and you're kind of getting accustomed to normal life, it is difficult to stay sane, because what do you do once you stop doing what you've always done? Anyway, going back to episode 5 of Meet the Khans, I thought this was a really good balanced episode that kind of showed, you know, the everyday normal things that they do, what they get up to, the difficulties, the little petty arguments, you know, looking au natural, not looking like a superstar 24/7, you know, just lounging around. And it was a nice balance between what Amir is doing, what he's going through, what he's up to, and the same with Faryal. And I think this was a really good balanced episode. I felt content wise it was a really good balanced episode. You know, felt like it picked up steam that it kind of lost episode 2 and 3 wise, and kind of felt like a little bit of the first episode. A nice balanced episode showing everything about the Khans. But there you have it.